Today I'm reviewing the Kiwi Ears Division headphones. Now Kiwi Ears is calling these a monitor or DJ headphones. They are in the budget price range. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? David here from Prime Audio Reviews. The Kiwi Ears Division, Kiwi Ears first over-ear or full-size headphone. Inside we've got 40mm dynamic driver, and the price is $49 US, just $49 US. So definitely in that budget realm. Now, because they are marketing these as like a monitor headphone or DJ headphone, we are expecting a fairly neutral response, but we'll get into the sound soon. Let's talk about the build first of all. They're very lightweight, super lightweight. And the build quality, you know what? It doesn't feel bad at all. You can see the ear cups rotate 90 degrees, so you can lay them flat around your neck. The ear cups are actually aluminium. They're not plastic. And naturally, it's built around a spring steel headband for the frame. And then we've got some generous padding on the underside of the headband with some protein or vegan leather, the same material we find on the ear pads. Now the ear pads are nice and soft. They're not particularly deep, but overall I find these quite comfortable. The clamping force is reasonably light. It's not too bad, but they do sit nice and securely on my head, partly due to having, they're being so lightweight. And I think they look pretty good. They look pretty classy for a cheap headphone, budget headphone. Now in the box, you actually get two cables. This is the first one. This is the one that I like to use. It's longer than average. It's about 2 meters long, and it's got one of these coily spring things. Pardon my technical jargon there, but yeah, it's got one of those, and I really like that. I think this is perfect for on the desktop, or if you've got a studio or a home studio, this is the cable to go for. The other one is just a regular 3.5mm, but it's got an inline microphone, built-in microphone, and a single button remote as well. So that's pretty cool. Great if you're on the move. And there is also a 3.5mm to 6.35mm adapter in the box. So everything you need to get going out of the box. And yeah, look, the build quality pretty good. The yokes here are plastic. The ear cups are aluminium, but it feels pretty robust and pretty sturdy. No squeakiness. And as I mentioned, pretty darn comfortable. So let's get on to the sound now. We'll talk about how they sound, and surprisingly they are actually pretty neutral, which is exactly what you want for a monitor headphone or DJ headphone. You don't want a colored sound, especially if you're doing audio engineering, if you're doing mixing. You want a fairly accurate representation of the sound, and of course in this price range there are very few headphones that cater to that audience. So have they pulled it off? You know what? Almost. I have to say, for a $50 headphone, they've done a pretty darn good job on it. So let's talk about the bass, and the bass is basically the only area where I think they kind of went astray in terms of being neutral, because the sub bass is fairly elevated. So you do have a fairly hefty and weighted sub bass, which makes for a more entertaining listen, but not necessarily a more accurate listen. So in the sub bass, yeah, you do get a nice bit of rumble down there, but at the same time, it is a fairly controlled sub bass. It's not a flabby or boomy bass. And then in the mid bass, it's pretty neutral in terms of quantity. It's nice and punchy. It's fairly clean. There's minimal bleeding into the mid-range, and that mid-range is probably where the division shines the most, because the mids are nice and neutral in note size and tonality. I tend to like this kind of mid-range because it doesn't have that usual upper mid-range lift to make vocals pop. It's more based on naturalness and accuracy. So while it might not be as exciting or engaging as some sort of colored sets or musically tuned headsets or headphones, yeah, I do like the sound of the mids here. It's nice and clean, good spacing between instruments, good articulation and clarity throughout, and a pretty good timbre overall. And then, of course, there is the treble, and once again, the treble is fairly neutral, fairly accurate in timbre and forwardness as well. However, one thing I did notice about this headphone, the Division, is the detail retrieval is actually above average for a full-size headphone. Even better than some far more expensive headphones, like even the FiiO FT1 Pro. This actually has better micro detail retrieval, believe it or not. Now, I'm not saying that makes it a better headphone, but it is quite impressive considering that the treble is somewhat laid back and totally non-fatiguing. There's no sharpness or sibilance in the treble whatsoever, yet it's still able to pull out those fine details, and I really like that about these headphones. Okay, comparison time now. I've bought in the FiiO JT1 headphone. This is an open back headphone with 50mm driver. Remember, the Division has a 40mm driver. The price of the JT1, it's roughly around $10 more, so it's like $60 compared to $50 for the Division here. In terms of materials, it feels a bit more premium, but the wearing experience is maybe not as good, mostly due to these steel bands here. Any bumps or vibrations sends them ringing. They're a little bit clicky clacky. They don't rotate the ear cups either. However, they do have larger, softer ear pads, so both are comfortable, but yeah, the JT1 is just a bit noisy when you're wearing it. And it comes with a fairly premium cable, similar to the cable that comes with the FiiO FT1 headphone. Fabric cover, fabric sheath. They're really nice, but you only get one of them. Anyway, let's talk about the sound differences. The JT1 has considerably more clarity than the Division, especially in the mid-range, so it's a bit crisper. The JT1 is sort of more typical of your generic sort of tuning. It's a little bit more colored. It is designed for a bit more musicality, vocal pop, vocal presence. So it's brighter in the upper mid-range, does have better clarity. However, the Division still has better detail retrieval, believe it or not, although the Division has an overall thicker and warmer tonality. And of course, the JT1, being an open back headphone, has a wider soundstage. But in terms of being a studio monitor, I think the Division, I'm tempted to say the Division comes a bit closer to true neutral or uncolored, except for that boosted sub bass, of course. But anyway, let's wrap things up. I was considering comparing with the One Audio monitor. What was it called? I don't even remember the name. I've got two of them, but it was only the more expensive one that sort of was on point. The cheaper version was just way too boomy and colored. But anyway, I'm getting off track. So that's the Kiwi Ears Division headphones. Look, I think for $50, you're getting a pretty good headphone here. Good build quality, nice and comfortable, pretty neutral, uncolored sound, although with some elevated sub bass. But if you want something that's really bright and clear, then something like the FiiO JT1 might suit you better. But I think for $50, not bad at all. Can't wait to see what else Kiwi Ears does in terms of headphones in the future. So I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Pa Family Audiophile Style. If you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button before you go. And until next time, I'll see you later.